it gets a bad name a lot of the time. But let's start off with explaining what it is. So anytime you hear that term, universal life insurance, I have this conversation with clients all the time. Universal life insurance basically is insurance that has an investment component attached to it. So there's some sort of an investment option that you can either use or not use, but it's accessible.
Okay.
Okay? And it's supposed to be a permanent insurance. And although in some cases it isn't. So this is where dealing with an honest broker, and it's tough to find an honest broker out there, but this is where dealing with an honest broker and a dishonest broker come into play. For example, and I'm speaking completely off the record here, but there's two kinds of universal life insurance, and the dishonest broker will tend to push that second kind on you that's not guaranteed because he makes a higher commission, but it doesn't suit your needs. So why don't we kind of go through the two different kinds and give you like a really good understanding.
Yeah.
So the first kind is the one that's guaranteed, and it's called level cost insurance. We call that the Term 100. And basically, the Term 100 insurance is where the level cost insurance will stay the same for life. So it'll stay the same till age 100. So for example, if you're paying $100 a month, it'll always stay the same. It never changes. Now where that investment option comes into play is if you want to add money on top of that $100, they give you a minimum and a maximum amount. You can add, let's say, $50 on top of that 100, and that money will grow, and when you die, it'll be paid out with the death benefit tax-free.
Okay.
So that's the biggest benefit in using it as an investment vehicle is that not even your RSPs do that, by the way. So even if you're with a spouse and the spouse dies, you're still going to pay tax on the RSPs that you inherit. But here, the death benefit and the investment are paid out tax-free.
Okay.
Okay. So the other kind of universal life insurance, it's got an abbreviated name, and I'm not very fond of this product. It's called YRT.
Okay.
And YRT stands for Yearly Renewable Term. And every time we're always talking about cost of insurance. We know with the last one we spoke about, the cost of insurance is guaranteed. There's no risks to you.
Right, and it stays the same.
Exactly. But with YRT, Yearly Renewable Term, it's going to change. And it's going to change as you get older. So for example, your cost of insurance when you're 40, they'll show you the same premium. They'll show you that it's $100 a month. But every year you get older, that cost of insurance will keep on going up, although you won't notice it until later on down the road. And what they do is they break apart that $100 premium, and they'll put a portion of it into your cost of insurance, which has to be paid, and a portion of it will go into your investment. And the older you get, the lower the cost, the higher the cost of insurance, and the lower
the benefit.
The benefit. At what point, what can happen eventually is that if your investment doesn't do what it's supposed to, then your cost of insurance will rise above your premium, and the policy can lapse. And this really frustrates people because in 2008, what happened was when the market crashed, and people lost 50% of their investment portfolio within that universal life insurance policy, a lot of people thought they had permanent insurance. They couldn't understand why their cost of insurance had risen and why they had to, how come they didn't explain this to us? Like, we thought it was permanent insurance.
And very, very frustrating because you think you're making an investment.
Exactly.
And you think you're doing the right thing by making an investment, but then when the time comes, you don't have that money that you thought you were guaranteed.
Exactly. And when I go back to the dishonest broker, when they show you that YRT product, the yearly renewable term product, it looks enticing to you because you've got this built-up cash value that's being speculated. They don't explain the cost of insurance very well. So you think, oh, I got this great insurance package, and it's got this investment that I can access to. Another thing is if they ever take that investment out, then basically the policy will lapse because there's nothing to fund the cost of insurance. So that's why I always say if you're going to go for permanent insurance, if you're going to go for universal life, there's others out there, but universal life insurance, stick with something guaranteed. It's your family. I mean, if this is an investment, fine. If you're this investment savvy person who wants to take a risk, and it can work out well for you in the long run, but if you're a family guy and you're using this to protect your family, take something out that's guaranteed, like a level cost insurance that that's going to stick with you for life.
Perfect. We have a call. We've got Charlotte on the line. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Do you have a question for Jack?
I do, Jack. I'm asking about mortgage insurance, actually. I'm actually surprised this is still a topic of conversation. I'm wondering how it is that still, banking representatives are getting away with selling this product to clients in the high-pressure way that they happen to do so when you're going to sign your mortgage papers. I recall very clearly being there with my husband and asking pointed questions, because we are well-informed individuals, or at least we thought we were, and they sold it as if, it was guaranteed that we'd be covered in the event of critical illness or death, that we would not have any worry. To later find out that that was not in actual fact the truth. So I'm just wondering why or how this is governed and how they continually get away with that.
Well, it's a very good question, and thank you for calling in, Charlotte. I don't know how they get away with it. I know that in Calgary now they have changed the laws. They have made it, first of all, the mortgage specialist, their specialization is mortgage. They're not specialized in insurance. They're not licensed to sell insurance, and they shouldn't. And that's why they're actually not supposed to even read you the questions, because I've spoke to a couple of them off the record. But their push, this is the cash cow for the banking industry. I mean, what better business than you paying premiums without even having to go through underwriting and then being able to disqualify people in the end. So I can't answer that question as to why. I think if people make enough heat, they'll probably stop selling the product. But again, if we look at the states, it's actually been made illegal to sell mortgage life insurance in many of the states in the U.S. So hopefully Ontario and the rest of Canada will soon follow.
Right. Okay. Thanks for your call, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Okay, so benefits to universal life insurance, quickly.
The benefit is, again, I'm talking about the level cost insurance. The benefit is that you have a cost of insurance that's guaranteed for life. It'll protect you, for your entire life. The premiums will stay the same. It's a permanent insurance. It's less expensive than maybe some of the others. Disadvantages, because I like to talk about those too. I don't like a product that you have to pay up till age 100, simply because I've seen it backfire for people, seniors, that maybe forget to pay a month or two. And then what happens is they have to go through reinstatement, which means they have to do a medical. And if they do the medical, they're likely not going to pass at the age of 80 or 90. So guess what? They have no insurance anymore, and they've paid premiums till age 100. So it still is a good product, but I'd like to we'll talk about the next, we'll talk about what product I favor.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. We're going to take a short break. Coming up after the break, Jack's going to tell us his picks on the insurance for you and for him. Don't go anywhere.